Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and I'm here with Kevin Kelly and Christian G of Aqua Design Alliance and Brooklyn Hardscape. And they have come to just visit and hang out, and Kevin and Christian have made me this pretty cool little tank, and they're going to tell you more about it, and we're going to get it set up. So,
the goal of the tank is a low-tech moss tank, where we're going to have a bonsai tree coming out of the corner, which will actually add to the filtration and provide some shade so Rachel and her forever lighted fish room won't have too much of an algae problem.
Kevin likes to give me a hard time because of my plant methods.
Somebody doesn't like to trim dead leaves.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
So what are you doing now? That is
This is
cocoa fiber?
Cocoa fiber, which is a good wicking substrate to use. Normally used in terrariums that require a lot of moisture. Because it'll pull from the water column, it'll give it some nutrients from whatever livestock Rachel tries to use. And then...
Does that expire, like its nutrient content or anything like that will have to be replaced after a duration, or?
It has no nutrient content, so
okay.
Maybe in a couple of months you can add, I use an aquarium root tab for fertilizer. So we're just adding that now, and then to line it on the side, we have Hydrolon, which is another terrarium wicking fabric, which will provide moisture so that you can have some immersed growth if you want to use terrestrial moss.
That's pretty neat. And where did you get that stuff?
I found a distributor in Brooklyn. A guy had gotten multiple rolls for pretty cheap, and he didn't know what to do with it because he didn't know what he had. So I bought it all.
Lucky you. So tell me a little bit about Aqua Design Alliance. I know it's a group on Facebook. I'm a member of it as well, and I'll put a link to that below. Tell me kind of what your guys' goals are and what you're trying to build.
We're trying to build a tri-state area aquarium club.
So that is New York,
Pennsylvania,
and New Jersey.
I feel like there isn't a real presence in the national community coming out of New York and Pennsylvania, so we're trying to build. Hopefully within the next couple of months we'll start having quarterly aquascaping contests.
That'll be fun, and that'll be obviously online.
Online.
So you submit photographs if you're from that area.
Judged by yours truly, Christian and Kevin. John and Val also. They're not here, unfortunately.
We're also going to be trying to get some guest judges, and hopefully we'll be able to take Aqua Design to the next level in the United States.
Are you going to do any workshops for people on how to photograph aquascapes?
Actually, yes. We have an entire docket. We're going to do some videos about bringing more of the artistic elements to Aqua Design, not just the traditional nature aquariums, Dutch. I'm an illustrator and a graphic designer, and I've been trying to play with a lot of the principles that are used that I seem to be missing often. So
something beyond the rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds drive me nuts.
Rules are made to be broken.
Exactly. Rachel will tell you more about that.
So, can we just get that bonsai?
So you don't have to put anything else in that soil for roots or anything?
No, especially the leaching from the aqua soil, and if you put fish in there. It's a swamp plant, so it doesn't need a particularly large amount of nutrients.
Will I have to prune it back for it to stay small?
Every 3 to 6 months, you pull it out and just trim the roots.
Okay. I think I'm probably capable of that.
Not too good people.
This is the ficus family.
Oh, all right.
So I'm going to massacre.
Does it flower?
It does not. So, lay like that.
That's cool.
And it grows relatively fast, but it keeps shallow roots, and then once it really starts going, it'll actually spread out more roots from the trunk. So it'll
so they'll infiltrate into the dragonstone, which will be really nice with that texture of the dragonstone. So you guys may have noticed I hit 20,000 subscribers, and it was kind of fortunate that these guys had come up on the same day and brought me such a nice present. So this will forever be my 20,000 subscriber tank.
20K.
And Kevin does a lot of really interesting things with the Dragonstone. Most of this is the little rubble and shrapnel and what would otherwise not be very useful pieces that he glues. And do you use wire as well? Or mainly just glue?
Wire. Sometimes I'll carve joints into the stone. So if you look, like certain pieces like this piece, I had to chip away a little piece to get that to fit in here, and then I had a secure piece. So this is kind of a keystone for a couple other pieces, and I have various pieces down to create like a nice sense of motion. Dragonstone has a really beautiful grain. A lot of people think it's too busy, but if you use it right, you can...
I love it. I really love it, especially, you know, with the shrimp I like to deal with. It's so nice to have all those nooks and crannies. And just visually, I feel like any level of hobbyist can buy some nice Dragonstone and make something dynamic out of it. So that's very inspiring as well. I mean, you can certainly be very advanced like this or relatively simple and achieve a really nice result. So as Aqua Design Alliance grows, are you guys going to try and set up in-person meetups and group buys and things like that?
We're building a website that'll have an auction site, as well as a for sale site, and hopefully in the near future we'll be able to raise cash to take cars places, visit people's houses like Miss O'Leary here, and really want to try to get it really proactive. Maybe even have factions where you have like local meetups and trades, and I feel like places like Pennsylvania really are kind of left in the dark. People aren't really trying to blow up the hobby, so...
Except me.
Well, yeah, you. It's all about just making the hobby better and greater. That's all we care about.
So Kevin said he designed this rock work to reflect my chaotic personality, and I think it works. It's pretty accurate.
Forgot some stuff. I'll have to mail it to you, the bonsai training wire. Once the trunk gets a little thicker, you need to start bending it slowly.
Okay.
Or next time
You'll have to come visit frequently to teach me.
I will have to.
Oh no.
I really do hope you like this.
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's great. I just wish I had a better spot for it right now.
It'll be fine.
I just don't think the scale was right for that stand. I think the stand was too big for it.
Get a nice tank. I'll make escape it for you.
What kind of glue did you use? Or is that
Gorilla
for bridal?
Glue.
Oh, Gorilla Glue. Okay.
I was a little nervous at first, but I emailed them and they guaranteed me that it's aquarium safe if it cures for over 24 hours.
And the same thing with the great stuff. How long does that have to cure before it's safe for a lot of stuff?
24 hours.
24 hours?
I have not had a single death from Gorilla Glue ever.
Great. I think that's something else that a lot of people don't think about, is that your cubes or rectangles don't necessarily have to be oriented in the traditional manner. I think that's what I like about that stand that Chris made for me too, is that it doesn't dictate how I place the tank.
That's a beautiful stand. The pictures you sent me don't do it justice. That's why I saw it in person. What's nice about using Gorilla Glue with Oko stone is that after about a month it gets discolored and will match the Oko stone.
Pro tip.
I'll use plumber's cement for cedar because the same thing happens. After about a month it'll match with the
That's
cedar.
that white putty.
No, it's the actual cement.
Oh, okay.
You got a Home Depot.
Yeah, Home Depot, $3 for
Yep.
9-quart tub.
A lot of people use it with salt water.
You just have to soak it in vinegar, right?
Yeah, you have to soak it in vinegar for about 24 hours, then let it sit in fresh water for another 24 hours, and then...
The putty?
Yeah, the
The
cement.
blue, rather?
Yeah.
Oh, after you cement it, you soak it in vinegar.
Yeah, because the cement
That's
will
cool.
raise the pH. So normally vinegar, then you put it back into fresh water for about 24 hours, and it usually neutral. Yeah, no, so Kevin with the plants, he normally just dismantles everything. That works fine too. What I like to do is I like to squeeze everything out and I like to cut off as much of the rock wool as possible. It's easier to split everything that way, I realized, and that way you get as much of the rock wool out, and you get to split the plant up a lot easier instead of having to do it like Kevin does, where he just does it piece by piece. I mean, everyone does it their own way though.
We'll have a race and see who, let's say.
Well, we'll
Let's
just
see your progress so far, Kevin.
well just goes to show you, no matter how long you've been doing it, there's always some young punk who's got a better idea.
Okay, young punk. Alright, so Kevin clearly cheated. He did it while we were off camera, but normally I like to split my plants into quarters, and he likes to do it in nodes. But it's a lot easier when you cut the rock wool. It's a lot easier to split everything up. And if you like, you could always split the quarters into smaller pieces.
Do you find that it grows better one way or the other? Or not really?
Not really.
Just personal preference?
Just personal preference.
Well, I have found that when you're planting plants, especially carpeting plants, it's always best to start in the corners, the greatest shade, where you put the largest mass of plants, and then as it gets into brighter sections, you plant fewer.
Because it'll spread easier.
It'll spread easier.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm the faster planter.
I have.
Well, I'm sorry. Like, do you see my corner? It's difficult.
I have more pots as well if you need it. I think two should be adequate for that little tank though. I love micro sword. It's so easy.
It's so easy. It's such a great plant though. Like, stays nice and small even in low-tech situations.
I think what I like about it is that it's actually appropriate for a lot of nano tanks because the scale of each leaf is good for smaller tanks. Something like Sagittarius subulata, I feel like the leaves are kind of wide to work in the scale, within the scale of a small tank.
It also stays pretty loose at the root level, so if you're going to have shrimp and you want them to breed, it creates a lot of the safety that shrimp need, especially when they're molting or young. And I'm sure Rachel already knows.
Rachel knows everything.
I do not know everything. I learn something new every day.
She knows everything.
That's Mama Dukes right there. She knows everything.
I learn something new every day. That's why I like this hobby. Now I'm glad we used the humate because that'll be great for those micro swords. So you guys are just planting them in groupings.
Yep.
Leaving a little bit of space for them to grow in and fill.
Yep.
When you're setting up a new tank, if it's possible, always plan to the maximum capabilities. The less that a plant has to grow in, the better. Patience-wise and to avoid large algae outbreaks.
Although since I won't be dosing this or anything like that, I don't anticipate massive algae outbreaks.
I don't know, we'll see, Mama Dukes.
I feel like I'm being pampered here. I don't have to do anything.
Nothing different. Just it's easier with two giants.
And we thought it was challenging aquatic experience to work in that small tank. And look at this, you guys.
Well, Christian and I work pretty well together.
So back to Aqua Design Alliance and Brooklyn Hardscape. There's two more guys that were also on their team for aquatic experience. One of which focuses on plants and one of which focuses on saltwater.
No, Val works on freshwater and saltwater.
Okay.
John works strictly on saltwater. Me and John and Val have, through the store, we've been working on hardscapes for saltwater, as there's not a lot of aquascaping that goes into saltwater. It's just a bunch of rock and then a bunch of coral. So we've been trying to expand on that. Val kind of goes in the middle. He does a little bit of plants, he does a little bit of saltwater. He does a little bit of both.
So again, if any of you guys are in the New Jersey, New York, or Pennsylvania area and you're interested in learning more about a planted aquariums, sort of the artistry of hardscape, or anything like that, make sure you look for these guys' Facebook group and their Instagrams, and I'll make sure I put all those links in the description for you to make it easy.
A little power filter we brought you.
Oh, are your beef mitts gonna be able to put it in? Meat mitts?
Yes, they call me the
Your
meat
ham
mitts.
hands? I call them ham hands.
Hey, pot. Stop calling me black.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I call mine ham hands. My dollar store strainer sure comes in handy.
It really does.
Wow, that water's a lot murkier than I was expecting.
You never just jammed it in there? No?
I usually do.
Yeah, just
Same
jam
thing
it
with
in.
lava. Just push it in.
Really? I always either try to tie it on or glue it on.
Depends what, I mean, with Dragonstone, you don't really need to unless you're, like, if I was doing it in a tank like this that had current, you would. But, like, with gentle filtration like that.
Before you add it in, you just want to break it up to real fine pieces.
See, like, what's really nice because it's immersed, you get that nice.
Oh, you grew this immersed?
This is off a piece of slate.
Tell.
The immersed grown Christmas moss. What's really nice about this when you're using immersed material is that you get a nice little stiffness where it was at the slate, where it was growing in just Tupperware under my couch. And you can literally just use
It was
this.
growing in Tupperware under your couch?
Yeah,
With no light?
with light.
Oh, okay.
With a little 3-watt LED light that I had hooked up to a plug.
And you just had it in a lidded Tupperware and you had missed it?
No, I forgot about it for about 2 months.
Oh, there you go. Of course, that never works when you try to make it happen that way.
I have stuff hidden in every possible corner in my apartment. Actually, when I clean, I'm always finding something that I'd forgotten about, some light that was plugged in.
That's where the electricity bill comes in.
It's true.
So we just drained the tank down in order to place the moss, and that'll also is doing a water change to clear up the water. There's a bit of debris from the Dragonstone, even though it was cleaned really well. So serious, Christian.
What? No.
So what sort of other stuff should we look for to be able to see what you guys are up to? Where can we find you?
Follow us on Instagram.
And your username?
Brooklyn_Hardscape.
And you?
Oh, that's our personal Instagram. Christian G33. It's spelled with a K. Rachel will tag it in the description below, I'm sure.
Yes, I will.
And I'm Rossfett, ROSSFETT.
You can also, he also has a website, rossfett.com,
Yes.
if you wanted to see any of his artwork.
And scapes. I have scapes.
And scapes, yes.
This is probably the most boring part of the process.
Yeah. What fun.
So tell us about the tanks you guys have at home. Like what kind of setups do you have? How many tanks?
You wanna go first?
Oh, you go first. I gotta count.
Alright. So I have 3 tanks at home right now. I have a 40 Cube Innovator Marine. It's the rimless series. There's no filter in the back. It's pretty nice. I have a pair of Grandma Panderos in there breeding. I have a colony of Variatus platies. I also have the white neon tetras with the red. They're not the gold neon tetras. They're actually really nice. I have a 10-gallon Scapers tank that I'm working on as a Dutch. I got from competition. No fish in there right now. And then just recently I got into saltwater a little bit. I got a Fluvo Evo 13-gallon. I just set it up not too long ago. I will be posting up pictures hopefully soon.
Are you following the really rigid rules that go along with Dutch aquascaping?
No.
No? So it's more Dutch inspired?
Yeah, it's more Dutch inspired. I just go with the flow. I don't really follow rules. Could ask Kevin. I don't really do anything as they say. I don't do my research as far as it goes into the hardscapes. I just do what I personally like, as I'm going to be the one looking at it for however long it's set up for.
And on that note, what sort of advice do you have for other young people that are interested in getting into planet aquariums?
For young people, I've realized a lot of the times it's money issues. Honestly, go to your local creek, go to your local lake. There's a bunch of wood, there's a bunch of rock that's out there that you could use as hardscape. You get a lot of inspiration through it. That's personally what I did. I also work at a fish store out in Manhattan. So I have access to a lot more stuff now. I have access to Dragon, Studio, all the ADA stuff. But when I was first starting out, I would spend a lot of my times in lakes, creeks, grabbing rock, wood, fish, plants that I never really went cheap with. I always got the high-end stuff, the lights, the CO2, substrate as well. But rock and wood, that's usually the most expensive stuff in the hobby, so that you could go to the lake or the creek and you could get it for free.
And find inspiration. I mean, even today, the three of us went out to the river and we're climbing around a bit. It's important to remember to not just, Kevin and I were talking about this earlier, about not just being focused on recreating something that you've seen or that you think you have to do, but to find inspiration and follow that path.
Definitely the best advice that I can give anybody is go out, buy some books with a lot of geological structures. There's a lot of people who go out and they just photograph these great geological structures that are in the United States, specifically like anywhere where there's soft stone, along the Missouri River, Mexico and northern Mexico, the Midwest, Valley of the Gods. Colorado has some beautiful stonework. Working with that stuff seems to be more inspirational for me than to look at some tank that I found on the internet.
Right.
And try to recreate it. There's a lot weirder stuff than people can possibly imagine that is natural.
What sort of setups do you have at home right now?
Everything. I'm decided to clean house after the aquatic experience, so I have about 10 tanks that I'm working on, but I have a paludarium that's based off of the seawalls in Scotland. And then I've been playing with some art theory, so what's running right now is just 2 7-gallons. One where it has a lot of immersed growth and very dark along the substrate, and then the second one is an Oliver Canard style where it's just a single large piece of Loco stone that's coming out with just covered in green. All Monte Carlo, a little bit of boost, very simple, elegant. The other tanks, I'm going to wait before I say anything about because I have some big plans.
And we'll come out and see them at some point too,
yes,
when you're ready.
When I'm ready. And my competition tank for the Flugel from Aquatic Experience I have.
Excuse me, your competition tank?
Absolutely my competition tank.
Wow, that is so mean. Alright. See what I have to do? He's an asshole.
But everything that I'm working on now is trying to practice what I preach about art theory, how to make things beautiful, following other classic and traditional laws of design and fine art, to get away from the rules of thirds, which I find that can be a hindrance, especially if you don't really understand it, than a help.
So personally, one of my favorite parts about this hobby, not even specifically the planet hobby, but the aquarium hobby as a whole, is like how many good friends I've made. And I met these guys at the Aquatic Experience this year, not realizing that they'd already been customers.
Funny story about that.
I didn't realize that, but apparently they've been customers for quite a while, and we hung out a lot at the Aquatic Experience and just really got along. And you know, I look forward to doing some work with them in the future and supporting this Aquatic Design Alliance and Brooklyn Hardscape and seeing how we can elevate the planet hobby in our little neck of the woods.
It's going to look really nice once like all this grows in along here. You have that nice little cave.
So as far as maintenance, once all this grows in, how often do you think I'm going to have to trim that moss? And do you have any tips on the best way to do so?
Being it's a low-tech tank, the moss will grow really very slowly. I think probably the thing you're going to have to worry about most at the beginning is just the moss that isn't very tucked in, that'll break loose. But it's Christmas moss, so it's fairly steady growing depending on the light. Once you get a feel for how it's growing with the light that you have, you can expect to trim anywhere from like 3 months to 6 months. This isn't particularly bright.
No, I'm going to set up a light under the shelf. That was a really great idea because then I can unplug all these other lights.
Yeah, just do a central light. It's always hard, like people always want to have that answer, and it's all about how your particular tank is working. It's really hard often to
There's no cookie cutter answer.
There is no cookie cutter answer, which is really a shame because then I think a lot of people would like this hobby a little more.
You know, and I think that's one of the things as a retailer I struggle the most with is that folks are constantly asking me, will this work? How do I do this with plants? What fertilizer do I need to correct this algae? And the reality is there's not always necessarily a simple answer because there's so many variables. And that's why I'm really drawn to these low-tech tanks. You guys know me, I like it simple and easy. And green, so this works out perfectly. So we're just gonna fill this up and let it clear up again. Actually, it's looking pretty clear now. And then I'll show you guys the final picture. And I just wanted to thank Kevin and Christian, who just disappeared, for coming to visit me. And make sure you guys, I'll put the links to their various social medias and to the Aqua Design Alliance and Brooklyn Hardscape if you guys want to check it out. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be stuff of interest for folks that aren't even in those regions, but it's definitely geared more towards a regional flavor. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know below if you have any comments, suggestions, or questions. It's running into my lights. Make sure you stop by my Facebook as well as my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, current stock list, and information on all things nano.
She's lying. I did not walk into the light.
Thanks, guys. I'm going to say again that Kevin really likes to give me a hard time about the fact that I don't really prune my slow-growing plants very much. So since he's 6'7" and can just reach into my tank, and I have to climb in and get in up to my armpits, she's going to trim it for me, which is awesome.
Chaos all the time. I decided to like break my own rules.
I like it.
Yeah?
It reminds me of like an Astronova.
That's the idea. That was the idea of like just like exploding rock.
That's so fun.
There's an artist called Jeremy Geddes, and he did a whole series of paintings of literally like people being blown out of glass in buildings. Do you know anything about wicking fabric?
No.
It's cool
No.
stuff.
Well, I mean, I think it might be, but that
would be very weird if I just bumped him in the room.
Glued it too well.
That's the other stuff.
So right here is good.
I don't know how to say your last name. Just call you Christian Fishy?
G.
G?
Yeah.
Christian G?
Yeah. G-E-D. That's what, because no one knows how to say our last name.
There's so many consonants in there.
Welcome to the world of being Polish. No Connecticut.
No Connecticut. Sorry, guys.
We don't like Connecticut people. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Rachel will tell you more about that.
I mean, this is a long-term project now.
I've been with the
How do you open it?
Oh, it's really weird.
There we go.
Just take everything out and just pull it out. But I like this. It's a good filter.
Watch me struggle to open and close the filter. Okay.
Well, next time I
You'll
come
have
down,
to come visit frequently to
it.
teach me.
I will have
Oh no. She made us sleep on the floor. It's not fun.
And it's good for shrimp and plants. It says so on the bag, so I'm going to take their word for
Icy
it.
blues.
Icy blues, not baby blues. My bad.
These are the money makers right here.
You guys should be wearing your Brooklyn Hardscape shirts.
I know. I didn't realize. I forgot.
I forgot my hoodie upstairs, guys. I'm not an asshole like Kevin where he doesn't even come with it.
Help. They've got that bend.
Oh shoot.
I mean Christian.
Oh, please don't put that in the video.
So Christian has a wonderful nickname.
No, I don't. Liars. Rachel knows everything.
I do not know everything. I learn something new every day.
She knows everything.
The bling bling.
So back to Aqua Design Alliance and Brooklyn Hardscape.
Yeah, he does a little bit of both. He's not bad. Crap.
He's not bad.
Cut that out. Cut that out.
You hear that, Val?
You should definitely not cut that out.
No. Only cute girls follow me, please. I don't accept guys.
So while we have it drained down.
I don't understand. This is the right attachment, right? For this?
Yeah.
So what's all this going on here?
Guys, so this is grade A marijuana right here. Wait, is it recording? Or?
Oh, it's on, but
So wait, it caught the whole thing where I was just like, this is grade A.
yeah.
Oh no.
I'll edit it out.
This is probably the most boring part of the process.
Yeah. But fun.
Oh, no, my competition tank for the
Oh,
food
right,
bowl
right,
from
right.
Aquatic Experience I have.
Excuse me, your competition tank?
Absolutely my competition tank.
Wow, that is so mean. Alright. See what I have to do?
You're doing fine.